Yeah. I did it again, Luke. Thank you. Ah, yeah, at least it was 3 minutes this time, man. The mic it cuts on and it cuts off when you come back in. So hey guys, working with new software. Sorry. Sorry about that. I'm here. You can hear me. I see my mic moving now. My bad. Thanks, Luke. Anywho, this is what I was saying for 3 minutes while I was talking to myself. It was good too. All right. Let me get back in there. All right. So what I was saying is social engineering is going on in America right now. And I say social engineering because if you look at what's going on with Columbia University and all the universities around America, you can see a wave of protest taking place. And if you look back at 2020, it was about this time we had the same situation. Now, we're missing some variables right now, pandemics, lockdowns. Don't worry. From what I hear, they're supposed to be on the way. Who knows, right? Anywho, when we talk about Colombia right now and the whole Palestinian movement and all the riots taking place, we're talking about students being locked up. We're talking about encampments. We're talking about a big scale operation right now on all the colleges to kind of push this narrative that being pro Palestine is being anti Israel, and it's not. That's not a thing. All right. You can understand one and understand both. Now, in 2020, during the George Floyd riots and everything that went on, there was a whole lot of movement in different cities with Antifa, far right groups, far left, like I said, people in the middle, a lot of peaceful protesters out there. I always want to say that there were peaceful protesters out there. Okay. Now, what you're seeing right now is the beginning of the college debacle that's going to fall apart in front of everybody. Believe it or not, social engineering is a thing in America, right? So we understand that through the colleges, you get an indoctrination of your children or your teenagers, whatever, that go through there for various ideas, depending if it's a liberal school, conservative school, Jesuit school, private school, whatever, right? In the 70s during Vietnam, this was the same ploy back then where you had a lot of colleges rioting, going off. And if I'm not mistaken, this was where the Kent State Massacre happens, right? Where they called in the guard and allegedly one of the guard were so terrified of a bunch of college students holding hands and throwing rocks that they opened fire. Now, this is true. This is a thing that happened. If you're old enough to go back and see it, you're old enough to go back and see it. But I learned this recently. I really didn't know much about the Kent State Massacre. Now, I'm bringing that up too because, like Vietnam, they called the National Guard. Right now, that's the conversation being spoken on the floor, but we have different senators, different representatives speaking about that. I do have a sound bite to verify that, and I want to show you guys that. Okay, so before we get into this map, let me find this video. I gotta find it because I don't know which one. Oh, sorry.
We will not.
Nope, not that one.
I do not think
Here
the
we go.
National Guard is a solution to this.
Speaker Mike Johnson visited Columbia University this past week, and he said, quote, if this is not contained quickly and if these threats and intimidation are not stopped, he said that the National Guard should be called in. Is that something you would support if the situation escalates on college campuses?
Kristen, I think calling in the National Guard to college campuses for so many people would recall what happened when that was done during the Vietnam War, and it didn't end well. The National Guard going to college campuses, Kent State and elsewhere, did not end well. And I think that would be a very, very bad idea. I think there are other ways using campus security, but also, again, offering students more opportunities to have dialogue that is civil and constructive where people hear one another. That's by far preferable. So no.
All right, all right. Get back on the screen. Oh, 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 oh. New software. There we go. All right. So we're back at it. National Guard is a conversation within the college protests. Do I think that should be something? No. No, not at all, because we know where this goes. And again, I don't think we get to the Kent State massacre, but I do think we may see what Occupy Wall Street was. A lot of police brutality, a lot of macing, a lot of arrests. Right now, you're hearing a lot of students being kicked out of school. You're hearing about colleges around America right now shutting the doors. You're hearing some right now firing teachers. I, I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to Conspiracy Monday Talk. Like I just for this very reason, this is why we're talking right now because we've seen this before. I've said it. I like saying it. We've seen it before. And here we are now. Israel against Hamas, Israel against the Palestinians, excuse me, and it's coming over here. Now, I do mention in your propaganda news media right now is all we're getting are the protests, protests, protests. And we've gotten away from what was in front of us when they were trying to scare us with the migrants, 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 or war, 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 Russia, Russia, Russia. It's always something every month. Russia, Russia, Russia. All right. Now I got a map I want to talk about, and I want to put this on the screen to show you something. So this is where this is all started at right now. These are all the campuses in the last couple of days that have started. Now, if you look at the top of it, it says Israel hate camps explode, funded by Soros. Now, if you know who George Soros is, you know that he's huge into funding political movements, little political proxy group. He was one of the biggest donators to Black Lives Matter. That's after the original six, not wow. All right. So the whole idea that Soros is behind this isn't the first time we've heard this. Soros is known for this tactic. Right now, it's all out in different news outlets that he's funded these groups. And if you look at where they're happening, of course, California, Texas, Georgia, Illinois, Minnesota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts. Wait, George Washington University. What do these places all have in common? They all have something really in common. I'm not saying that they're all blue states. I feel like there might be a red hiding in there, but a lot of these colleges that they're naming are big dog colleges, are very, very influenced colleges by different Democratic parties. I had to pick a right word to say. I was gonna say something out of pocket. You guys know, man, old ways are hard to break, man. But right now, these are the states that are up in uproar on their own campuses right now. You have different areas like Texas, Dallas, University of Texas, Austin, which I'm not surprised by that one. USC, of course, University of Cal Poly. Those are three typicals I wouldn't have ruled out of that whole protest charade that they got going right now. But the biggest campus that I think everyone should really be looking at is Columbia University. And a lot of things come out of Columbia University. And on this glorious first real take of Monday conspiracy talk, I want to sit here and bring the fact that one of my favorite theories, one of my favorite psyops comes from Columbia University. Oh, I love it. I wonder if you guys know, man. Because my favorite conspiracy is coming out of Columbia, and it seems like Columbia is making the most headway with Mike Johnson. And then you've seen the senator from Virginia on there. You can see, you can see where it's coming if you guys understand how this works. Columbia University is the home of psyops and social engineering. I say that staring, gazing into your eyes right now in this camera. Columbia is where it starts at. I swear to you, right? Now, one of my favorite little theories before we get too far into it is the cloud pivot strategy. Now, I got some more content I want to show you. You see the paid protester? I got that video. I want to show that to you before we get to the cloud pivot strategy. I do want to say this though. We're gonna get back to it because Columbia is where a lot of this is taking place at. This is the battleground for what's going on right now. You don't have to believe me. You can suck all that mainstream media down all you want. But I'm telling you, Columbia is where it's starting at. It's always gonna come out of Columbia. Always remember that. I'm gonna show you why. Watch this video. All right, this is the paid protester.
Not be moved unless by force. We'd like to reiterate that our presence on this encampment was never a security risk. In fact, it bonded members of the Columbia community in unprecedented ways on this campus. People from various walks of life coalesced to deliver food and supplies, to do their homework on the lawn, to bring their professors to community, to read a book at the People's Library, or to sing around a guitar song. We will not be moved by these intimidation tactics. You can see outside you now that the students are mobilized. There's hundreds of them here today. They will not be moved. We demand divestment.
All right. That's her apparently. Paid protester, right? I know that's one of those things people be like, why would they pay a protester? Crisis actors. This isn't new. This isn't a new thing. Okay. So I'm just saying, don't be deceived. I'm telling you, these things are gonna keep happening. And as it gets hotter and we keep coming outside, it's gonna pick up. Now, who are we missing from this whole conversation? We are missing the migrants right now. Because while we're all focused on mainstream media, and of course we're all eating it with a spoon right now, everyone who's watching it is like, oh my God, this is really happening. Them folks got paid. You know who else got paid? Mike Johnson got paid because he passed 96 billion. And this was on mainstream news bullshit. He got 96,000 from a silent contributor. Make it make sense. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but I'm saying someone's getting greased again. And it looks like Americans are going to be the one to foot the bill of the greasing. Columbia University has a lot going on. Now, before I get to that again, I got another demographic. I got another graphic, not demographic, but I got another graphic that I want to show you. All right. Remember the riots in 2020? This is the map. Political violence demonstrations, strategic developments in the U.S. May 24th, August 22nd, 2020. Okay. Now, brought out the good stuff, right? So you see the battles, violence against civilians, strategic developments, riots, and protests. Always remember, Oregon has been fighting for some time, and it's still a battleground out there, right? Whole lot of crazy stuff has been going out there. But look at the places. These are all the major cities. All your heavy oranges are major cities. Boom, 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 everywhere. Why is it the major cities? Why is it always the major cities? And all your major cities are what? They're what? They're blue. They're blue cities. I'm not saying it's a coincidence. I'm just saying there's a noticeable trend with political violence, instability, and major cities. If you don't believe me, you go find all this information yourself. Couple quick searches on Firefox, Yandex, whatever you use, DuckDuckGo, pulls up the same information for the most part, right? You don't get so much censored on other pages, but at least on some of these other search engines, you can find stuff like this every now and then. Now, I think this is very noticeable and very huge to mention that I guarantee these same places are going to get a lot more active as the year goes on because colleges are closing, kids are getting suspended. You're going to see a lot of lawsuits. You're going to see a lot of angry people. We just passed 96 billion, so of course Americans are footing that bill, and I'm not gonna be the one to say it, but if you've been paying attention, you would know that there's something new in the headlines coming out, and it goes by the name of the avian flu. It's just right on time, is it? Anybody had that on their board this year? Another pandemic, possible lockdown? I don't know, guys. It's looking real 2020-ish right now. If Epstein went down in 2020 and then we turn around in the hip hop game and we see Diddy go down for the same exact thing while all the record executives are hiding and running, all your entertainers and celebs are a little weird right now. All I'm saying is be prepared for it to seem real 2020-ish. Real 2020-ish. Oh, man. It's funny because it's true. I know you guys are sitting here like, "He's laughing at it." I am, man, because it's the same thing over and over and over. It gets old after a while, that's all I'm saying. And if you know what it looked like, then you actually know what to do with it. I'm telling you guys now to be prepared for anything that seems false flaggish, right? Saying a little hoax, maybe some CGI. They're not gonna fake too much, but they won't fake the lives. We know they don't like faking people's lives, but they like to lie about a lot of stuff. And to be honest, there has been some incidents that are questionable. Not gonna get into those tonight. We're gonna be a little soft with it tonight. But we're gonna talk about this week because I'm on a nice streaming schedule and you guys get to see this lovely face more. Congratulations. Right? All right. Let me move this out of the way. All right. What is the chance that we see some foreign event on our land same time they're protesting? Same time. Perfect event. Bottled up perfectly. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. Now, I've always told you guys, stay strong and be smart. Don't fall for this. Okay. Now, I do have, some other stuff I want to talk about. Mention cloud pivot. Huge fan of that one. If you don't know what the cloud pivot strategy is, it's another psyop created during the civil rights era. And again, it was meant to put complete instability on social welfare systems in states and governments, essentially holding them up to their standards while collapsing the system for a new system. And the only reason I'm mentioning that because a lot of you guys are right on point about what I'm kind of winding into right now. All right, I I like breezing through videos. I like content. I like visuals. I like audio bites. So enjoy, enjoy.
Is exactly what's happening. It's called the Cloward-Piven strategy. Look it up. Fact check me on this. It was first proposed in 1966 at Columbia University by a professor named Richard Clower. And you know who went to Columbia? Who was taught this curriculum at Columbia? Well, lots of notable presidents, cabinet secretaries, and attorney generals. To name a few, remember 2016 who was president? Oh, Obama. Yeah, he went to Columbia. Madeleine Albright, U.S. Secretary of State. Anthony Blinken, current U.S. Secretary of State. Harold Brown, previous Secretary of Defense. Bill Barr, the previous Attorney General. Eric Holder, the Attorney General before him. And this is just to name a few, right? So what exactly is the Cloward-Piven strategy that they teach there? Well, it's a strategy to speed up the fall and collapse of capitalism by systematically overwhelming the government systems with a flood of impossible demands. And it ends up pushing society into a crisis and an economic collapse in order to, get this, bring down America and the entire capitalist system. Yes, this is real. This is what they teach. Cloward-Piven strategy. Look it up. Now, this Cloward-Piven strategy teaches people how to overwhelm the system with massive spending, entitlements, and debt. Sound familiar? And the goal is literally to collapse the entire economy, wipe out the middle class, and bring a nation down to their knees, begging the government to save them. So what's this strategy all about exactly? Let's dig into it a little bit. Now, in the 1966 article, Cloward and Piven, that was his wife, they charged that the ruling classes, the rich, used welfare to weaken the poor, and that by providing a social safety net, that the rich were basically holding the poor people down. They were preventing them from rebelling. They said in the paper, quote, poor people can advance only when the rest of society is afraid of them, end quote. Cloward told the New York Times this, quote, on September 27th, 1970. Now, rather than giving the poor, government handouts, wrote Cloward and Piven, activists should work to sabotage and destroy the welfare system because, as they said in their own words, the collapse of the welfare state would ignite a political and financial crisis that would rock the nation. Poor people would rise in revolt, and only then would the rest of society accept their demands. What a strategy. Now, the key to sparking this rebellion would be to expose the inadequacy of the welfare state. Cloward Piven's early promoters cited radical organizer Saul Alinsky as their inspiration. You might recognize that name, Saul Alinsky. He wrote a book called Rules of Radicals. It's what Obama says that he read. It's what Hillary Clinton said they read. If you read the book, it's going to explain a lot of what's going on. One of the things that he wrote in his book is something saying, quote, make the enemy live up to their own book of rules. So, when pressed to honor every word of every law and every statute, every moral tenet and every implicit promise of the liberal social construct, human agencies inevitably fall short. The system's failure to, quote, live up to its rule book can then be used to discredit it altogether and to replace the capitalist rule book with a socialist one. So that explains the plan. But how did they plan to implement it? Okay, well, a key component of the plan involved fooling the voters by calling yourself moderate and a uniter, even though you're a radical Marxist, and to never, ever admit what you really believe in. It involved demonizing your opponents by calling them evil, greedy, extreme, radical, and a terrorist. Look in the mirror and call your opponents the very things that you are. The plan teaches to always hide your true intentions, or in other words, lie or misrepresent, whatever you want to call it. Obamacare is about saving the uninsured as opposed to, income redistribution. Government regulations are to protect us from global warming as opposed to, wiping out small businesses. Amnesty for illegal immigration is about fairness as opposed to creating 12 million new Democratic voters. Now, the key to it all is to what they say, boil the frog slowly. So by the time he realizes what's happening, he'd be cooked. The authors of this strategy, proposed a, quote, massive drive to recruit the poor onto the welfare rolls. They calculated that by persuading even a fraction of potential welfare recipients to demand their entitlements, it would bankrupt the entire system. The result, they predicted, would be a, quote, a profound financial and political crisis that would unleash, quote, powerful forces for major economic reforms at the national level. Now, this article also called for, quote, aggressive organizers, end quote, to use demonstrations to create a climate of militancy. Now, they would use carefully orchestrated media campaigns. They would float the idea of a federal program of income redistribution in the form of a guaranteed living income for all. Like a universal basic income for working and non-working people alike. Is this starting to sound familiar? Now, the plan's goal was to mobilize the poor people in mass to overwhelm government agencies with a flood of demands beyond the capacity of those agencies to meet. Sort of like what we're seeing in Italy. Sort of like what we're seeing at the southern border. Now, they would do this in hopes of breaking the budget, jam the bureaucratic gears into gridlock, and bring the entire system crashing down. Fear, turmoil, violence, and economic collapse would accompany such a breakdown, providing perfect conditions for fostering radical change. At least, that was the theory anyway. Now, I know that sounds bad.
Hey, it was a little long, but spot on. Right there, right? It was definitely spot on. Now, that's a mouthful. Let's break some of that down. Let's break some of that down, okay? Now the political instability and the aggressive protests that we're seeing right now, to some extent, there are people out there who believe in this, yes. And on another side, it's a paid faction forcing an issue because they need us riled up. They need us all over the place. They need us to feel a certain way. So what you're watching now is why CNN and Fox and everybody, they're just spoon feeding. Propaganda, 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 propaganda. You're sitting here watching it, taking it in, not knowing that it's all a show. Now, as far as the violence that follows, that's never a show. That's real. If they gotta force it, they'll force the violence. I never want to come on here and say, "Well, it was fake." People have lost their lives talking about the same things I'm talking about right now. People have lost their lives being caught in the middle of this BS. So let's never forget that whatever they're doing, there's some type of vibe to where they can't fake everything. So for me, I'm looking at what's happening right now with the instability and seeing pure aggression and protest. Fake aggression, sure. But it's aggression if they show it to you enough. So always know it's coming out of Colombia. It's gonna migrate to the bigger place. Gonna migrate to the NYUs. I'm pretty sure they're already in this conversation too. Now it hasn't made it to the South just yet, but it is here. Florida University had their demonstrations this week. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 10 students arrested, and they're talking about closing their doors right now. You guys seeing the pattern? All right. If that's not enough for you, let's go back. Let's go back to the migrant situation. Now, I spoke on this months ago about them cutting benefits for certain migrants who came over here with no family. So now you're getting the bigger ones or the military age males, excuse me, out here roaming around and they can apply once a month. But that's not guaranteed that they're going to get that. It's not guaranteed. So you have them roaming around. The whole incident that happened at UGA with the Lake and Riley girl, rest her soul. You have the incident in Texas where they found 12 migrants in a house, whole lot of kitty stuff in there. Won't say it online because I'm still on Facebook tonight, but you know where it's going. They got them in the house, and that's not the first one. They did a raid in Texas. I think it was like either Houston or San Antonio, where they found like 5 different houses holding 12 to 15 different military age males. All right, like these are real things coming out, right? This is the bubble of the pot. This is the frog sitting in the pot right now. We're all waiting. We're watching this bubble over. At some point, we gotta say something. Like Mike Johnson passing the damn bill should have told you. The FISA 702 Surveillance Act, Warrantless Surveillance Act. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm just saying. I can't even ignore this question. What happens when 5 million immigrants lose their funding and there isn't enough food to go around? Okay, let's play this game. Let's play this game. We can play this game. Ben, we're gonna play this game. You did this. All right. 5 million migrants are hungry right now. Are they military age males? If I'm assuming they are because that's the bulk of them out of the 10 million that's come over in the last 3 years. So 5 million hungry males, more than likely armed, more than likely in numbers, more than likely working together. You're gonna see a wide event of robberies that are already started and taking place. Now they've kind of calmed down since then, but that's because they're not really covering as much as they used to on the news about the migrants' robberies and them with the police and the interactions amongst the actual citizens of America. But right now, you remember the squatters law that came out in Florida. This is part of his question of 5 million hungry migrants, right? So 5 million hungry migrants on abusing squatters law right now, reaping $9,000 a month, free food stamps, and a cell phone, and it all stops abruptly. Does that Are we including the food instability from the derailments and all the burning of the processing centers and distribution centers and farms? Are we including that too? Because if we are, then you would be basically waiting for the largest hunger strike in the world. They're gonna be hungry, and Americans are gonna be the fattest bag to go get for them, as the young people would say. They do it for a bag, right? Now, You're playing a very, 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 very dangerous game right now inside of America because all those migrants aren't exactly migrants. Is this a conversation that we need to have tonight? Because it is conspiracy talk. Let's get into conspiracy of the sleeper cells roaming around. And who could be testing us right now through our infrastructure? I got one more special graphic for you. I always pull this graphic out because I just like it. I do. So all I'm saying is where we're at right now playing this game of Clue and how this is going to play out, it's going to be ugly if it plays out that way. And if it does, then this comes back around to the Cloud Pivot Strategy, Columbia University, social engineering, George Soros, and the other uh, Republican and Democratic groups funding political proxy groups, which sounds familiar. It's kind of like them funding the proxy groups overseas right now. They got a habit of doing that, right? So in America, there's allegedly a gun behind every blade of grass. That's the legend. That's the man, the myth, the legend of America. 5 million all at once. I don't think that they pull it off successfully in one sitting. I do think that once it happens, streamlined information is going to get around, and then it kind of ceases itself. So the idea that this is going to actually work, ah, maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of Americans. The number right now that I understand is something around 35 to 40 million veterans. I think 15 to 20 million hunters. And like you got an additional, I guess you could put like the organized street gangs in there too, as far as gun owners. But as far as a grand total, I think we're sitting at something like a whopping 75 million in America, as far as quote unquote fighting force. The migrants, it, it, it something's missing from this. Like we're watching the political unrest, right? We got a whole conflict overseas. That's typical of us. So that's not anything completely new, minus Bibi being on his BS. Russia, Iran, all these groups, they're always upset, minus them shooting at each other. That ain't really too far off either. What's so strange about this situation is that all of this happening just seems planned. Ever since 2020, you can kind of see the same faces, the same narrative being pushed. So it's hard for me to kind of buy into this is just random. And I know better. If you know better, you do better, right? You know better, you do better. That's what we say. So after what we've watched, let's not let's not be naive to think that we're not being played again. Because I've always told you, as much as I bring it up, the prophecy is being faked. Now, it actually may have already happened, but the powers to be, the elites, the cabal, the deep state, the swamp, whatever you call it, they're up. This is them. That's them in a whole. And right now, with everything that we've ever read into, and you guys can start dropping operations and projects galore in my chats right now, and every last one of them line up somewhere. Every last one of them. Every last one of them. My favorite one right now is the Cloud Pivot, and it's also the idea that most of this is being ran through by DARPA. If you know who DARPA is, you know how I feel about DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. The people with all the cool toys, people who created all this whole hysteria, the psyops that you see on the internet, Facebook. Yep, 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 yep. That's what they say. I said that. That's what they say. I already said it. We've had a neck for saying it. It's been around for some time. Now, now that I've mentioned them, cat's out the bag. Here we go. And action. My favorite graphic. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because this is exactly what we're dealing with. You see this clusterfuck? You see all this? Sure, it's a lot of words up here. It's a lot of little letters scribbled together. Courtesy of the new software, I hope you can see it better. I feel like you can. Make sure that you guys can get a good eye. Feast your eyes. This is DARPA. This is everything that we're talking about. Every minute little gem of information is sitting in this little diagram right now. Also created by deepstatemappingproject.com. Please, they're good, they make good graphics. They're very informative. Support them. That's all I'm saying. Now, look around. Look what look in the middle by the Pentagon. What does it say? It says PSYOPs right here by the bottom left, right? PSYOPs. What's that coming out of? Pentagon. See that line going up? That's the defense secretary overseeing the PSYOPs. You look over here, you see Facebook and YouTube, the same platforms I'm streaming on right now. Supercomputers. Someone mentioned crypto. I seen it. Where'd it go? I seen it. I seen it. I seen it. One of you guys mentioned crypto. I can't find it. Someone mentioned crypto again. Where'd it go? Oh, close enough. Ben says, don't forget Robo Dogs plus 5G plus AI. Bam, Ben. Here you go right here. if you want to be uberly petty, if you look over here by psyops and psychiatry, look, it says Ivy Leagues, Berkeley, MIT, Caltech, Institution of Science. Oh, look at that. Hollywood runs into the Masons. Oh. Look, man, this stuff is people are really out here trying. I'm being honest, man. I'm laughing, but I appreciate stuff like this because of the fact that there's someone out here who had enough time in their life to piece everything together in such a way. And I'm not saying that this is the gospel. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this is a very fluid diagram of the perceived hierarchical system of what we're dealing with. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that some of it's true, some of it's not true. I'm saying this is a fairly good depiction of how the hierarchy is running right now inside of this whole little charade that we're dealing with. Remember, you can't say that though. You being anti. That's what I'm being. I'm being honest. I I like to pull diagrams out. Like, look, as you guys get to sit with me more, I know I've been very inconsistent in my streaming, getting myself together. I've been upgrading, working on software. I hope it's working better. I feel like it looks a little bit better. It flows a little bit better. So I've been taking time to get the daily rabbit hole together. So when I show you stuff, I want you to know that I've always had this information. Just sometimes my software wasn't working properly. I hope it's flowing well tonight. I feel like we're doing well. I see all you guys in there. Also, don't forget, quick promo. I have my link space in there. Go ahead, follow all my pages. I made it easier instead of spamming the shit out of you. I just go ahead and put it all in one place and I send it out. All right. So now you can find me on all social platforms. You can donate. Everything is appreciated. As you can see, all your donations go to software, it goes to hardware, it goes to the Daily Rabbit Hole. I'm here because of you guys. Never forget that. We're going into our whole first year of doing this, right? Remember that. Been doing this only a year. Now, for, since we've had that commercial break, let's get back to it. DARPA PSYOP ability is pretty good, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you have the likes of Starlink, Facebook, and all the supercomputers in the world on your side, along with psyoping millions through dark web and 8chan, I, I'm pretty much against QAnon. I'm not against them. I just think that they're a psyop because it's weird. It gives me Bolshevik vibes. Guys, ever heard of Operation Trust? That was the thing when the Bolshevik conflict, and then they believed that someone was coming to rescue them, and nobody came. And here we are, almost 100 years later, and people think someone's coming to save us, and damn it, here we are again. Yeah, history repeats itself. So when you guys look at this and you guys hear what I'm saying, understand that it's not just one entity; it's all of them. Someone mentioned that. When you know who runs the world, yeah, it ain't girls. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. We know who's running it. We get it. I'm gonna do a segment on that. We're gonna get back on the Kazarians. You can't call them the other name. You can't link them together on Facebook. They get real sensitive. But on Rumble, this is gonna be a Rumble show. It's gonna be real personal, real open, right? Real in detail. Uh, uh, hold on. There we go. Cough, cough. You cough, cough. Didn't want to point at him, but I believe without a doubt, 8chan was a psyop. They dropped that in there. And here's the thing. You remember uh Project Pogo, Project Zypher, David Goldberg, right? He says this. They were giving bits of true information out and they were letting content creators push it. So much that you would wonder how they're getting this information. And I know that sounds like, well, what are you doing, Marcus? Well, I'm sitting here reading through the information, giving it to you. I'm not privy to shit. So I'm not anything. I'm a normal person. Just a normal person trying to do his due diligence in the fifth generation of warfare we're dealing with right now. And I'm having fun while we do it. So David Goldberg in 2019, his last statement was explaining how all this streaming, all this you're seeing is essentially one big psyop to collect information and names. Now, we already know that anyone who's a Trump supporter right now is officially on the Alphabet Boy list. I don't care. It's true. It's been in the news. It's all over the other Alphabet Boys' pages. You can't say their name. I'm on Facebook. I already know they're cutting y'all out. They're being real sensitive tonight. This is why I just wanted to show my face and let you know I'm still working, but you might want to come over to Rumble with me because the conversations are going to get real good. Because I'm on Rumble tonight and I'm on YouTube. So nothing has changed, but the conversation is going to be really, really good. And my guy Steve understands that because he know early off when we started this, the conversations were really good. So we're getting back to that. And I say all that to say this. The amount of BS that we're watching play out in front of us and no one is saying nothing is absurd in itself because it's enough of us to know that this is BS. Even for the people who can't hear themselves think, have to, they don't believe it. Fine. But we know for a fact that there's something wrong. I'm not saying we know for a fact who it is. I'm saying we know for a fact there's something wrong. And there's something very, very wrong. And if you pay attention to the diagrams and you read the Bible and you read all the other scripts from around the world and the book of Enoch and the Jubilees and the Maccabees and the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of David, there is a Gospel of David. Yep. I'm telling you now, it already happened and it's happening again. They're trying to force it, but in a different way. And they need us to do it. They just need us to do it because they're violating certain laws of the universe and the heavenly order, if you believe that kind of thing, because I know I got a mixed crowd who believes a little bit of everything. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm saying that I've read enough Gnostic information to understand that there's something to all of this. Now, I got other diagrams that we can go into, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're not going to get too religious in the theology and the philosophical aspects of the Gnostic Bible. Why I have DARPA on this screen is because this is pretty much most of the problem right now. And you guys are, really good at picking my brain and seeing where I'm going with stuff. Because CERN is a part of this too. Yep, yep. It's all here. Switzerland, here we go. If you look to your top left, see Switzerland where everything is held at. You kind of watch it come on down. Wall Street, where you go into Silicon Valley. CERN is gonna fall right on that middle spectrum right here. Why? Because CERN is a bit of everything. Everyone's working in unison with CERN, like my guy said, playing its part and it's opening portals, if you believe that kind of thing. And conspiracy talk tonight, shit. One rabbit hole leads to another. This diagram gonna lead you everywhere. Gonna be all over the place. 4 o'clock in the morning, sweating, drinking Red Bull. Like, what's going on? Like, what? How's this? Yeah, it's been going on for some time. DARPA's been around for a while. They're the ones testing out all the good stuff before they give it to us. LifeLog and Facebook. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying, damn it, Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus. Whatever. Wonder why you don't see them in the same room. But the diagram makes out a very good showing of how this operates. Now, if you go all the way to the bottom, let's migrate to the bottom. AI, because that's where we're at. We're at the bottom. We're not up here. Like if you look at the map, that's not where we're at. We're at the bottom. Go down to the bottom. That's where they're keeping all of us at. Crypto, quantum computers, Apple, Microsoft, AI, the neural uplink, which went live last month. Neuralink went live last month. If you didn't know that, go back and look at Elon Musk talk about the Neuralink and the guy who can now move the mouse with his brain. They have already tried, they're already on the foundation of transhumanism and meshing man with machine. We've all seen it in Terminator. We know this shit doesn't work. It doesn't work in anyone's favor. AI is supposed to become sentient, which we've already heard, sentient, excuse me, that we already heard happen with Google and Microsoft numerous times. All I'm saying is they've put it out there in movies. They've put it out there in cartoons. The Simpsons are one of them. They've put it in Family Guy. They're, either you're going to believe it or not, but at some point they're trying it. They're doing it. All this up here is real. To some extent, everything you see on here is real. It's not fake. The companies are real. What people are not understanding about these conspiracies and how they operate is that these conspiracies are piggybacking on truths and lies at the same time. He said a quadriplegic was able to surf the web using his brain, and to be fine, and he's not wrong. Stephen Hawkins is one of the first. No one wanted to mention that. They got weird when you said it out loud, but that technically that's Neuralink. That's the very early stages of it, but it's Neuralink. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't think about him like that, but when you say it out loud, yeah, that's Neuralink. How many times do we have to see the truth and not accept it? That's how these conspiracies work. They happen, someone blows the whistle, they surprisingly do something strange to themselves twice that doesn't make sense, and it gets covered up and nothing happened. How many times has that happened? I can think of a couple operations and projects where that's like the whole story. The Vegas incident, 2017, right after the solar eclipse, 7 years later. What are we gonna get after this solar eclipse? We already had an incident, I believe, in Florida with the NFL player out of bullet. So yeah, you guys are right. Yeah, yeah. Cognitive dissonance. You're not wrong. Not wrong at all. Hey, the one and only. How you doing? You're not wrong. I'm just. This is what this is for. This conversation has to be had. It's the continuous pattern and habit of the same tactics every time, and we're just sitting here like, yep, 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 that's it, like the meme, yeah, yep, that's it. There you go, there you go. I just I don't know what to say sometimes. Like I show these diagrams, and everything we've talked about is literally on this diagram. Everything that I've covered in the videos is on this diagram, right? Even the last two videos, I got like two more videos just kind of piggybacking and seeing where I wanted to go. Now, I'm not a QAnon guy. Now, I do want you to watch this last video, right? It's about covert war and guerrilla warfare and the tactics of how they're moving. The guy's kind of a QAnon dude. That's respect. You got to believe in something. I get it. Whatever. But peep the video out, all right? Here we go.
Let me tell you what I think the strategy has been to destroy the United States of America. What has happened is the forces that are after the United States to destroy it, they have seized probably, in my opinion, 70% of the key positions of power and authority in the United States, in addition to the media. So that's where you stand right now. So what do you do in that kind of situation when most of the leadership in your country is up under the influence or either is the actual enemy? That's where you stand right now. Now, thankfully, we have the, the white hats doing what they do, and they're very methodical. They've got military training. They've got the intel. But what do? See, you're going to have to quit dreaming about what would happen if the United States was in a certain situation, because that situation is here today. It is now. You know, the United States is up under attack. It is a covert attack. It is an attack without declaration. It is an attack without bombs falling physically. It's almost like the principles of the art of war. To destroy a country and leave the structure would be the perfect scenario, according to Sun Tzu. So right now, that is what is happening to your country. So think about that and know that, in my opinion, 70%. You might say, where did I get 70? That's just a number that seems to fit from what I have seen. 70% of the leadership in the United States, the people you would go to for help in case there was an insurgency or an invasion. You know, an invasion would be more obvious. If you think about how Normandy was invaded, or how in World War II they dropped the bombs there in Hawaii and Pearl Harbor. That's obvious. But with an invasion with the strategies of Sun Tzu, I want you to look at the Art of War and read it and think about what is happening here, because the United States is in the middle of a covert war. It is an actual physical war where people are dying and the stakes are on for the winner.
All right. How do I get out of this? Where is it? Take it off screen. There we go. Hey, I'm back. Now, minus all the Q added jargon, you gotta believe in something, right, guys? No judgment. No judgment at all. Okay. He has a lot of good points though. The art of war, the subversion, the bypassing the invasion, kind of not trying to take a head on attack with us. That's kind of what we're getting right now. We're getting pure, unadulterated subversion. It's behind the scenes. It's propaganda. It's just like everything you're seeing on here. Your mainstream media is all a part of it. Operation Mockingbird, Project Mockingbird, whatever which one it is, right? The CIA, the CIA had its thing to where they would go in and basically put out false information to control the narrative. It's proven in the sports world. Now, here's another thing. In the sports world, the teams learned that if you paid the reporter, he could write better narratives about the team. Even if you were losing, he would talk so well about you, you couldn't tell that there was something wrong. Now, speed that up and look at America, and a lot of people sit there and watch the news and be like, well, if it was true, it'll be on the news. They say that every time, and it's never on the news. They always say that every time. It's never on there. And if it is, it's because they got to get in front of it. You don't believe me? Depending on what state you're in right now, I guarantee your state has passed some legislation banning the UN right now. I guarantee it. You don't believe me? Alabama. Kay Ivey has denounced the WHO and called them a criminal organization. The governor of Louisiana, I'm not sure of his name, but I know the headline is correct, also banned the WEF, the WHO, and the UN. All right. Now, I've always said this. If it's fake, if all of this is fake, I'm looking at you. If all of this is fake, why are they getting in front of it? If it's truly horseshit, truly, and we're just sitting here having fun on Monday, conspiracy talk, if it's pure horseshit, you explain to me why you would need to ban microchips in employees months before Neuralink came out. If it's fake, explain to me why you would ban government interference involving the children and parents in state schools, and then give the parents state right, I mean not state right, but right to put their kids in any form of educational institute they want, whether it's private, public, or homeschool. Listen, I can show these diagrams. You guys can watch the news all you want. You guys can read every book in the damn library. But I tell you what, if we all collectively are seeing the same thing, and our governors and certain leaders who actually still have a fucking spine are actually passing stuff right now to get in front of this, I would be a betting man that I would need to prepare for something. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. There's too many variables and there's too many ideas. What I'm saying right now is your governors are getting in front of something right now, and your other governors are getting behind it. And I know there's 50 senators with brand spanking new satellite phones. I know there's brand new low Earth orbit satellites in Operation Blackjack through uh where is it? Starlink. Thank you. I had to look at my diagram. I know for a fact there's certain things going on right now that don't make any logical sense. And if you really sit down and give it a fine eye, I swear to you, you will see the same thing I'm talking about right now. I guarantee it. I don't care. If you really are paying attention, you can see what they're doing. It is not as hidden as we would like to assume it is. It's not. It's just not. It's been in your face the whole time. It's still in your face. They're still doing it. Don't believe me? Go back 4 months. The World Health Organization and the WEF tell you that the new threat will come in the form of water. I posted this. I don't care what no one say. I'll take my win on that one. They said it. Check the water. Now, what are you starting to hear? Hackings, water plant, water treatment plants, more derailments, more strange fires. That if you look on here, there's a little thing that's called dudes. This is gonna be good, man. Mondays are gonna be fun. Mondays are gonna be real fun. Mondays are gonna be real fun, guys. Conspiracy talk is gonna get interesting. Now, will it be on Facebook all the time? Probably not. Facebook's real sensitive when I get like this. So, what I'm saying, if you open your eyes and just open your ears, both of them, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Shut your mouth and pay attention. 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a brain that's somewhat functional. Somewhat. Because some of y'all be out here tripping. And I ain't talking about you guys in the comments. I'm talking about as a whole civilization. We out here tripping. Because everything on this little diagram, I'm telling you now, is taking place. They're all involved. George Carlin said it years ago. There's a big party and we're not invited. And the only thing we are invited to is the watch list they created for everybody but themselves. Ain't that about I got reactions on here. I got little sound effects. Gasp. New software. Reaction. I'm appalled. You put everyone in America on a watch list but yourselves. But what can you expect from people? They're not gonna arrest themselves. You know you're not gonna arrest yourself. You're not. You're not. This is why no one from the Epstein thing has been prosecuted. Because you're not gonna arrest yourself. It makes sense. It's an unfortunate idea, but the people who are in charge are not gonna arrest themselves. I don't cut that out. Get that out your head. I had a little hope that maybe there was something that's gonna happen, but Epstein's been allegedly dead for 4 years. That list has come out. They got the list. They got all the information. They got all the evidence. And still, to this day, to this beautiful day of what's today? The 29th. If you in the East Coast, it's the 30th. Ain't not nan person on that list went to prison. Nan one. Because they're not going to arrest themselves. It's pretty simple. It's not hard to tell. So I say all that to say this. 2 eyes, 2 ears, shut your mouth, and just watch it play out. They're not even original. They're same tactics. This is why they mention Vietnam, because they know what's coming. Vietnam shouldn't have happened the way it happened. That's a whole other conversation. The last time we had college outrage was Occupy Wall Street, and that may be really the last real alleged grassroots that we had. Black Lives Matter was grassroots, and they co-opted that, and that went straight to hell. I'm just gonna call that one spade a spade. I appreciate the gentlemen who created it, the all six, rest their souls. I don't know all their names, but I do know that they're no longer with us for obvious, strange reasons. Completely strange. Let me fix my mic. Completely strange reason. No, no, not at all. Nothing new. The big club and you ain't in it. By the way, it's the same club they used to beat you over the head with while telling you what to do, what to buy, and what to think. Yeah, and they're back at it, back like cooked crack from the '80s. It's the same ploy. Every guys ever noticed like the war on drugs failed? When did that work? That's another conspiracy. We got to save that one for a Rumble show. We can't do that one on Facebook either. You guys gonna have to come over to Rumble. I'm just telling you now. Better come on over to Rumble. Yep. Don't put that back in there. You guys come on over. Yep. Put my link in there. Link space. See how it pops up? I love my new software. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you sitting with me here tonight. Has has America ever been successful of any war? Now, when you say successful, what do you mean successful in what sense? Like successful in overthrowing and pillaging and robbing? Sure. Successful in leading and liberating and empowering nations? Absolutely not. Hi, Tina. You're new. What is a Rumble show called? Same name? Yep, you can find me on Rumble. Daily Rabbit Hole. The Daily Rabbit Hole on Rumble. Nothing changes. Um, and if you guys click on the link, all my links are in there. It's in one place. So now you can save the link and you can find me. You find me wherever you need to find me. Sometimes my lives get cut out, but Rumble ain't gonna cut me out. Yeah, Tina, I know you're new. A lot of people in here are got some new ones in here today. Got some regulars in here tonight. Excuse me. I appreciate you coming in. Hope you're enjoying. Very interesting. What was I saying? Where was that? Oh, America being successful in war. Absolutely not. Stop. Stop. We're good at it. Like we're good. Like we're the war district. If you guys understand why America's the war district, understand that it operates in three districts. All right. You have the Vatican, you have the London Financial District, and you have Washington, D.C., because D.C. is a district. It's called the District of Columbia. Again, Columbia. Ding 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 ding. Where my reaction at? Let me find something. All right. I know it was rhetorical. I know it's rhetorical. It's funny though because people really sit here and be like, "America, we really out here like we are really out here robbing and pillaging and not liberating." Ask what we liberated in Afghanistan for 20 years. 20 years. We all saw that one. We can't fake that one, guys. I wasn't around for Vietnam, okay? I just wasn't. I wasn't even thought of yet. But guess what I was around for? 20 years of Afghanistan and Iraq. What we liberate there. Don't worry, I'll wait. I wanna point out before Russia invaded Afghanistan, women could go to college. They were already liberated. I'm just saying. America's form of liberation goes backwards. All I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. That's a yeah. Oh man. Hold on. One more time. One more time. And if you believed it when he said it, I'll tell you what. I knew then, and that was in the 10th grade. That was 2001. If you believed anything George Bush Jr. said, I question everything about you. Junior, I might let you rock with Senior because Senior was involved. But if you actually believed anything Bush Jr. had to say, I don't know what to tell you. That whole charade was horrible. And then they came out was like, well, we actually didn't find anything. No shit. Congratulations. You did it again. Gaddafi, self explanatory. Egypt, self explanatory. Oh, man. This is going to be fun. This streaming the whole, and really, moving up and getting back into what the daily rabbit hole is. This is going to be fun. We're going to have fun because the last 20 years has to tell you everything you need to know. I feel like I can tell you guys about the last 20 years, and we can all agree that at least the last 20 years have been horseshit. 24. Just solid 24, right? Yeah, they liberated Poppy Fields. That's true. It is. It is true. Oh man. So with all of us knowing this stuff, right? Let me put my face in here. Let me figure out how to get my face. There we go. Okay. I can't. There we go. All right. So with all that we know, with all that you guys are dropping in my comments right now, why are we sitting here acting like we're shocked? You notice that no one's been really campaigning this year? Has anyone noticed that, you know, no one's really campaigning? Why? Why? I mean, why? Why is no one campaigning? Why? What are we missing? Why are the colleges in an uproar? Why are there all the derailments? Why are all the celebrities being really weird and disappearing and getting real quiet? Who are you hearing from right now that's why for real? Like it's conspiracy talk tonight, right? Let's be real about something. Why are all the celebrities quiet? Beyonce out here doing country music. Diddy out here, he lost. He don't know. It's up in the air. Jay is a mystery right now. All your politicians right now are on the same page on a couple things: banning TikTok, giving more money to foreign wars, and clearly warrantless surveillance. These are all factual. Visa 702 bill. Go look at it. Warrantless surveillance of a foreign entity. Understand, if you're outside of the district, you're considered a foreign entity. The district is not the foreign entity. The district is the root of control inside of America. Anything outside of the district is considered a foreign entity. We outside of the district are the foreign entities because when they pass legislation, it is not passed in mind for us, it is passed in mind for them in DC because DC does not run under the Constitution. DC has not been running under the Constitution since about 1871 ish, 60 ish, if you want to go back that far. So when they pass something that says surveillance of foreign entities, understand that they have already been surveilling us. Now they have solidified surveilling us. Right? Separate yourself from the District of Columbia, people. Separate yourself from the District of Columbia and put in mind when they say foreign entities. If you understand the legal jargon, you would understand what the foreign entities are. An entity can be anything, any person, any legal asset can be an entity. The District of Columbia is not operating under the United States of America's constitutional republic. It is operating under the United States Code of Law of Admiralty, business. This is why your legal information is in Latin. That's why you have to understand Latin to be a lawyer. It's a whole different language. So when they pass something, guess what? It's not passed for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bingo. Bingo. This matrix that we live in is not what we think it is. You have Americans operating with the United States of America and the Constitution in mind because that's what we've been taught. You got the other side operating on the law of admiralty and business code and monetary code and a whole lot of other business legal jargon that does not even apply to us. Does not apply to us. It never applied. It's only applied to us when it's being used against us. Welcome to Monday Conspiracy Talk, people. Even when you're called a minority, it means you're a minor one who cannot make decisions. Guess what that means? We're all the minority. The race thing is a joke. They don't even care about it. Yeah, they use it against us. Sure. Sure. Psyops. Duh. But they don't even give a shit. You know how I know? Look at who's at top. They're not lacking any diversity up there. If you've ever noticed, there's no diversity missing at the top with elites. There's no diversity. They're not missing the diversity. It's already there. They're giving you numbers on us. Yeah. Yeah, God. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Supposedly they're operating under maritime law now also. They've always been operating under maritime law. You know why? Because they're pirates. Pirates operate on the land of the law of the sea. That's all maritime law is. It's the law of the water. This is why you can go out in the Bahamas and go do ungodly stuff. This is why you can eat a person in the Atlantic. because there's no rules out there. What are you governing out in the water? They're pirates. Every waterway they control, it touches, they own it. They're pirates. They've always been pirates. That's not anything new. If you listen to how they came here, they're pirates. I don't understand. They sailed on warships with cannons and flags. And when they got here, they enslaved everybody. They murdered, they raped, they pillaged, they enslaved. They're pirates. So how is it a shock that we're going by the law of admiralty, maritime law, because they're pirates? Oh, they're pirates, guys. Do you want to hear some other funny stuff? You know who else were pirates? Moors, because they sailed the world. Pirates, Pirates of the Caribbean. What Caribbean did you think they were talking about? They're talking about our Caribbean. There's a guys. I appreciate y'all so much. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys understand what I'm saying, man. But like when people go back and watch this, I hope they're sitting here and they're like, yo, this dude's funny. I hope I'm amusing to you because the truth of the matter is, this is all fact. They sailed on ships over here. In most places, if I'm not mistaken, in modern times, if a small Somalian boat runs up on you in your boat, guess what? He who has the bigger gun is a pirate. He's gonna pirate your shit. If it didn't change now, what make you think it changed thousands of years ago when they crossed the water and they staked their land? They're pirates. That's the craziest thing about this whole conversation is that when you really break it down to the most fundamental level of history, it's the same problem. It's the same exact thing. Uh, I've always appreciated. Here's what I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've always appreciated their willingness to put it out there in the open. The elite, the cabal, the deep state, Illuminati, whatever you want to call these folks, they're the same thing. I've always admired their ability to keep this running, knowing it's not working. It's working for them, but they know it's gonna fail. They know the dollar's gonna fail. We're gonna go right on the bricks. They do it every so 250 years. It Rome, Rome, Rome ring a bell. We all talk about what's your Rome, right? That was the thing on TikTok. That's how they got people to confess. What's your Rome? I appreciate their ability to tell us. If you really pay attention, they're telling you what they're doing. It's on us to accept it or not. And if we accept it, then they keep going. It's not a coincidence that everything you watched 40 years ago on Star Trek is now happening 40 years later. They had Bluetooth on Star Trek. My dad watched that as a child. They had Bluetooth. Amazing. Now we got Bluetooth. Like, yeah, DARPA. Do I need to put the diagram back up? DARPA. Wherever level you're at in this game of the iceberg of conspiracy, you guys have seen that meme, tip, the bottom, dark, absolutely horrible shit that no one wants to talk about out in the open. Whatever level you're on, I need all of us to come together and piece it together as a whole. Yeah. Prime example. Prime example. Listen. Prime example, right? Y'all gonna make me y'all gonna make me pull up the whole preview. Most of you guys in here are old enough to understand the movie They Live, right? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how predictive programming works. I'm gonna show you how predictive programming works without really going too deep. But if you've seen They Live, I'm gonna break this down. What happened? If you haven't, spoiler alert. Okay, listen to this. In They Live, this gentleman put on a pair of glasses. He was a homeless gentleman walking around L.A. Waddy Roddy Piper, right? Walking around LA, comes up to a church camp, a homeless camp in LA where they allow him, well, not allow him, but they allow him to live. He's working. He goes into a church, finds out it's some big operation, right? It's some underground shit going on, right? Sees them knocking over boxes, putting boxes away and stuff. They get raided one night. LAPD pull up, whoopie whoop, whoopie whoop, whoopie whoop. You know what I'm saying? He go the next day, go get some shades, put them on. He start walking around, he starts seeing the subliminal messages hidden in the billboards, and he starts seeing people that look like aliens and demons, right? Now, pause. Pause that spoiler alert. Now let's jump forward real quick right now about the last 3 months. I posted a video, right, where they're saying that it is now a mental disorder that causes a person to see distorted faces in shape or figures of demon like nature. Pause. All right. Wall break. Now we're going to go back, right? We're going back, wall break. In the movie, he's walking around, goes on a whole tirade of BS, right? Whole tirade of BS. He can see these people. He's out here wilding. He gets involved in some stuff, police chase. You guys got to go see the movie. All right. But finds out that you can see through the frequency. Like what happened is there's a frequency coming from the news station. All right. Now pause. Wall break. Come forward. Come forward with me. Okay. Now, if you understand the plane in which we live in, and the ionosphere, the frequency, and that energy is ever moving. It never it transfers. It doesn't disappear, it just transfers, right? Frequency, vibration, you understand the 5G. We understand that there's frequency weapons. It's on the DARPA map. We can go back. Let's say bending frequency ain't too far off if you understand where I'm going with this. We've heard of the reptilians, right? Conspiracy Talk Monday. Here we are, right? And they say that they're reflecting light around them. And in the movie, he had to put the shades on to see him. But eventually, when they got rid of the frequency, you could see them without the glasses. Spoiler alert. All right. Eventually, you could see them without the shades. And in this whole scenario, the power elites are a part of this. They're in on it. They're getting money, fame, trips to other dimensions. Apparently, in the movie, still didn't. Yeah, just basically how that was happening. So, how this was happening was through frequency. He destroys the frequency, right? And all of a sudden, everybody can see. Pause. Wall break. Wall break. And now look at us. Now people are talking about it's a mental disorder if you see apparent demon faces. I made the argument too. We had already knew demons existed, right? The Exorcist, that's a movie, right? You know, Catholic Church, demons, the Bible. We already knew this had been a thing. Like, if you know, you know. Some people are atheists. I think that's the biggest trick in the book is being an atheist. I don't care. You got to believe in something. The Most High. There's something above all of this. I don't. Whatever. I'm not gonna argue with nobody. What I'm saying is we've known that there's something there that go bump in the night. They call him the boogeyman, demons, fairies, Baba Yaga, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, ghost. I mean, whatever you want to call it, right? Frequency, frequency. That's all this is. It's frequency. How far off are we from this right now to where we're being told it's a mental disorder that you're seeing facial apparitions? Facial apparitions. I'm just curious. You guys are giving me good stuff, man. You're not wrong. Not wrong at all. Too hard to conceal? Possibly. It's possible. It's they live. I see it. Ah, but they live. Roddy Piper, star of the movie, one of the dopest cult classics. I'm gonna be honest. Acting was absolutely horrible. But it's a cult classic. It's one of the greatest conspiracy movies out. Like, I ain't gonna front to you, man. A lot of these movies that they show us, that's predictive programming. That's literally predictive. They literally told you 40 years ago that this was gonna be a thing where the subliminal messages are in everything. They even said it about Leave the World Behind. There was a whole secret audio. The subconscious. Like, come on, man. We all know about the pineal gland and the subconscious, man. Come on. Like, at some point, some of this shit gotta be real. Yeah, why play around with it? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If we see it one time and then we see it for ourselves because they made it happen, that's predictive programming. Now, if it's happening because there's some type of vibration going on and there's a real fight between good and bad, sure, sure. Like there has to be some type of positive force out there that give a shit. At this point, look, man, if you know America from 1492 till 2024 will make you question a lot about if there's a most high. And I'll say that out loud, not because I'm an atheist, but because if you've looked at what's gone on in America, just America from 1492 to 2024, if you look at our body of work, it would be real hard to sit here and believe that there is something positive out in the world. Because the shit that we're talking about, we're not even touching on the dark stuff. We're not. We've touched on all surface level attire. Surface level. All this stuff has been known. Most of this stuff ain't a secret. MK Ultra ain't a secret, people. It's not. Neither is Paperclip. Hey, Miguel. Been a while. Yeah, man, I'm back on here, man. Been a minute. Been working. None of this is new, though, guys. None of this is new. Nope. None of it. Absolutely none of it. We're gonna do another show next week, right? Because all this is test on the stream schedule. So I will be on again Wednesday. Um Morning slots are coming. Morning slots are definitely coming. I am gonna do a Friday show. It's gonna be late. Now, for you guys to say that, some of you have already in bed. It's 12:40 on the East Coast right now. Some of you guys might be from the West Coast that see a little bit later on, but it's 11:41 my time, Central Standard Time. Um, this is going to be a reoccurring thing. This is going to be a full time stream, and there will be a schedule. As you guys can see, I have put a little bit more effort in making this a better experience. still working on stuff, but I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. All right. Where my reactions at? Playing with my reactions. Give me a round. You can tell I ain't never had it. I'm playing with stuff. Round of applause. Round of applause. All right. It's late tonight. I appreciate you guys sitting up with me, man. Watch out for the predictive programming. Keep watching for the protests. Watch how it moves. All right. We're gonna keep Monday Conspiracy Talk. It's definitely been a good show. I appreciate you guys, man. Make sure you share my link. You share me amongst your people. If you're new to me, I'm on Facebook. I'm on everything. If you're feeling generous, I accept donations. It all goes to the Daily Rabbit Hole. Thank you so much. I'm Marcus Antonio. This is Daily Rabbit Hole. Have a good night.